Unprepared hiker faces certain death on Mount Washington. Authorities report winds are over 90 miles per hour, air temperature -9 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a wind chill of -52 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions require proper gear and experience to survive. Lacking these, the hiker's situation was hopeless, according to officials, unless he was reached by rescuers in time. Thankfully he was, and the Mount Washington Cog Railway was a part of that. So I'd like to start by reading a statement by the Cog Railway. The statement was posted on Facebook. They say, "We were proud to play a small role in yesterday's hiker rescue, but everything about the ordeal was wrong. Most emphatically, the fact that it was even necessary in the first place. The lives of nearly a dozen individuals are placed in great jeopardy due to the stupendously bad choices made by this young man. While we certainly wish him well in what might be a long and difficult recovery, we also hope, against hope, that by his example others will not be so foolish. We said it before and we'll say it again now. Mount Washington cares not a whit about your adventurous soul. The only chance of survival this person could hope for yesterday rested in the selfless strength and expertise of a small team of mountaineers. If you know someone who serves with any of the volunteer or professional organizations, please give them an extra hug or a pat on the back for us. True heroes truly do walk among us." As stated, the Cog Railway was part of this rescue, and to tell you the rest of the story, I'd like to read a press release by New Hampshire Fish and Game. "Hiker rescued from western slope of Mount Washington around noon on Saturday. 22-year-old Cole Mathis of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, was hiking the Amonasuk Ravine when he fell and became injured. After the fall, Mathis called 911 and requested help. Due to poor reception, very little information could be obtained other than he had an injury and needed help. This call was sent to a conservation officer along with the GPS coordinates, which showed Mathis went off trail in a drainage ravine west of West Side Trail and north of Crawford Path at approximately 4,500 feet in elevation." So I'm going to summarize part of the press release for sake of time. But in order to save hours of hiking time, the authorities contacted the Cog Railway, which I describe as like a small train for tourists, for like scenic tours. And it's called the Cog Railway because a lot of the slopes are too steep for a conventional train to travel. So there's a sort of gear on the engine that connects to the track, and it pulls itself up by that cog, so-called. So they were able to mount a snowblower on the front of one of the trains and carry rescuers up. But while they're trying to get there, the injured hiker Mathis calls again, but the reception is really poor. Can't really hear him. But then he calls again, and he says that he's no longer in his original location. He was able to make it to the Lake in the Clouds hut, and he was below the building in an emergency shelter. So I'll continue reading the press release. Conditions on Mount Washington were sustained winds at 90+ miles per hour, a wind chill of negative 52 degrees Fahrenheit, and an ambient temperature of negative 9 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions do not allow for exposed skin and require proper gear and experience to survive. The first group of rescuers were able to meet with Mathis at the lake's emergency shelter at 6:17 p.m. The rescue crew relayed that Mathis was not injured but was suffering from hypothermia and was wearing many layers of frozen clothes, including frozen hiking shoes. Over time, the second wave of rescuers arrived at the emergency shelter, and it took over 3 hours to slowly warm Mathis. The rescue crew arrived at the Cog Railway base station at approximately 10:50 p.m. Twin Mountain Ambulance was at the base station and initially treated Mathis for hypothermia and frostbite. After multiple recommendations that he go to the hospital, Mathis refused treatment and signed off that he did not want to be treated. And again, I'm reading the press release. This is their words. Mathis made numerous poor decisions in regard to the hike that he planned in the White Mountains. He did not have proper gear, equipment, weather planning, and/or proper critical decisions in order to keep himself out of harm's way. Mathis saw other groups turn around and say, the weather isn't worth it. But he decided to keep going. Mathis called for a rescue after making all these poor choices and putting himself in a situation that placed 11 other lives in danger in order to save his. Even though the rescuers complete heroic tasks with humility and passion, there is still never-ending concern as to why inexperienced solo hikers continue to push on. If it was not for the willingness and timeliness of the Cog Railway, the rescuers, and others, Mathis would have undoubtedly died on the mountain. The list of people who have died on the presidential range will stay at 173 for now, thanks to the rescue effort that saved Cole Mathis' life on Saturday, February 17th, 2024. So that closing paragraph was stern, and I hesitated to read it. However, if a man isn't feeling well and he goes to the doctor and he keeps going to the doctor and he's not following the doctor's orders and eventually, I would say, a good doctor might sit him down and talk to him rather sternly and say, you need to follow these instructions or you're not going to make it. And again, how was expressed in the press release and also in the Cog Railway's Facebook post. You keep seeing things like this over and over again. And I wasn't there, but from what I've read, it's my opinion that that was very close. Frozen clothes, frozen ice-covered boots. You can't be in a state like that for very long and survive. And if you're in that state for just a relatively short time, and do make it out of there, are rescued, could be frostbite so severe that there's permanent injury, or it could require amputation of extremities to save the person's life. Thankfully, in this case, from what I've read, it seems like, thank God, he'll be okay and suffer no lasting injury. And also, thanks to the Lord that rescuers made it there and back safely. And in closing, I'd like to read a Facebook post by the Pemigewasset Valley Search and Rescue Team. Appreciation to our friends from New Hampshire Fish and Game, AVSAR, Twin Mountain Fire and Rescue, and the Cog Railway for saving a man's life on Mount Washington. While they were doing that, PEMI-SAR went with Fish and Game on 2 other overlapping rescues. Injured hikers were carried out from Welch Mountain in Thornton and Mount Avalon in Bethlehem. Busy day. So more and more people are enjoying the great outdoors. We see that in New Hampshire. And I love that. Come here, enjoy the outdoors. I think we have a beautiful state. God's blessed us with that. It's wonderful. Come and enjoy the outdoors. Please do it responsibly and safely. And just one last caution before I sign off is that the number of these rescues, in my opinion, is starting to swamp the system. And I've seen the authorities and the rescue teams writing things along those lines. While they're trying to rescue one person, there's another person calls in. That's what happened here. And accidents happen, I could have an accident today. I'm trying to be responsible, but I'm human. Anyone can have a medical event. Anyone could trip and fall. We try to be careful. Okay, so no blame. I'm just saying, in this case, while trying to save that other person, there's someone on Welch Mountain and someone on Mount Avalon needs to be saved. So something else to think about. And I think I'm going to make this one a little short and sign off. And thank you for watching. Thank you all the viewers. If you think this is an important message, please share. If you're on social media, or you can email it to someone, however you'd like to share. Comments are great. Please leave any comments, opinions, experience. If you're a relatively new hiker, you want to ask a question, ask questions in the comments. Always been a really great discussion. So, and again, I thank you. God bless you guys. Hope to see you again soon. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up. James 4:10.